start with our panel discussion. Just to give you a little bit of overview of what we're going to be discussing today. So this session will examine the impact of Saudi Arabia's Vision 2030 on the evolution of work environments. As the kingdom aims to diversify its economy and foster innovation, the demand for flexible co-working and remote workspaces is surging. According to the Gulf Business, the co-working market in Saudi Arabia alone is expected to grow by 15% annually. And this session will explore how Vision 2030 initiatives drive the development of modern, inclusive, and tech-enabled workspaces, enhancing collaboration and productivity for the Saudi and their expat workforce. So without further ado, I would like to invite to the stage my panelists who will help us delve into this topic. Ahmed El-Sharabasi, CEO, founder, Sharabasi Built Environment Studio. Ahmed, welcome on board. Dr. Ala Alban, advisor and consultant and Miss 2030 leader. Engineer Mohammed Al-Mohmadi, Senior Business Development Director at Retal Urban Development. Mohammed, welcome on board. And Rashal Tikerti, Creative Director and co-founder at Varo. Okay. I was not aware Dr. Ala is not joining us for this discussion, correct? Yes, it's just in my notes. It's fine, all good. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining. This is our last panel of the inaugural Workspace Summit. So this is the first Workspace Summit that we organize in Saudi. So before we kick start with our topic, I'd like to ask you simply, how do you find that it's important that we talk about the such a niche sector, right? When we talk about workplace and office design, and simply having a platform like this to have a dialogue and really look at the workspaces through so many different lenses, from HR, from technology, from interior design, from development side as well. Why do you think it's important that today, maybe now more than ever, we need to talk about workspaces? Rasha, from your side.
Thank everyone. Can you hear me? I think they can. Why is it important? Well, because as we always say, we spend most of our time at the office, and because we as humans became more demanding. Now we don't just accept to have a desk and a chair. We want much more amenities, especially that everybody started thinking about well-being much more. For me, it's that psychological factor of thinking about the well-being. It's like I want an office that has this and this and that. I don't just want to go and sit in my place. This is why it's very important, and also because of the popular war for talent. You need to attract talent, and to attract talent, what is your physical space offering for you to attract the right talent? So in summary, it's about us understanding that well-being matters, and it's about the war for talent that all of the corporate organizations needed to kind of up their game to attract them. So yeah.
Yeah, so there's a lot going to be to discuss, yes. Mohammed, from your side, why do you think it's important to have discussions revolving around workspaces?
Thank you for having us, and first, happy National Day for everyone here. I think it's very important now because when you ask anyone about how he is working at his space or place now, first thing will be mentioned, that's COVID-19. I don't think COVID-19 is something we passed. It's still influencing how we are working. It's influencing us in a positive way. So I think it was just an alarm for us to start changing how we work from our workplace or environment. It's important now, especially for Saudi. I will talk about Saudi because we are a developer who is practicing development in mixed use and offices in Saudi. We can see the wave happening in Saudi, and we can see that the demands is changing heavily. As a developer, the space to function and to deliver and to get to where you promise your client, you need to be in a place where it's really different. Different than, it's not about COVID-19 or 2020, it's different than any product that you have delivered during your life as a company, and your client is a bit picky, and they are getting pickier, so you need to be picky at the place where you are functioning from.
Perfect. Ahmed, from your side.
I do think that first, happy National Day, guys, and thank you. I have the whole pleasure to be there. I think the understandable spaces for different generations can be considered the most challenging aspect of the interior design for the work spaces. Different generations embrace different ideas, different needs, different approach for every aspect in the space. So I think this is the most challenging one. Generation Z, generation the millennium. So I think this is the most challenging one, I think.
Thank you so much. Now when you mentioned generations, in one of our previous panels we look at multi-generations, and today I think in the workforce we have workplaces we have 5 different generations, starting from the traditionalists, which we also call silent generation, to a very vocal Gen Zs, right? Where, as you Rasha mentioned, they don't want any more desk and a chair. There's a lot more that they demand from their employer to provide them in a physical space.
Baby boomers are still
and baby boomers are still there.
Still
yes.
there.
For sure. So just going back to our topic, obviously, throughout the summit, we look at what are some global tendencies in workplace. You mentioned COVID-19, Mohammed. A lot of disruption has happened in the way how we live, but also how we work. But I want to bring it more local. I want to really bring it to that Saudi 2030 vision, because that's also a disruption on its own, a positive, very positive disruption, but it's creating a lot of changes that are happening in terms of the workforce that you want to attract. It's a multi-diverse, it's a multi-generational, it's a diverse in terms of nationalities, expats, a lot of headquarters are coming. So I just want to kind of delve into that from the project that you are working on, just to kind of talk more on that, your client demand to Russia as well. Like, how is that aligned with that vision of really kind of pushing forward that all-inclusive, tech-enabled, future-proof, work and lifestyle in Saudi?
Well, first of all, there has been a very positive change in terms of the client's understanding of how they should design today and tomorrow. Sometimes that change is a bit hard to kind of apply, because in the beginning they're like, no, this is how we are, this is how we work, we don't want to do that. And if you show to the clients what they're asking for, they'll realize that no, this is outdated. We can go back and follow your initial vision, if you know what I mean. So this also has proven well in one of the recent projects we've been working on. Sometimes you have to show people what they're asking you to do looks like, for them to appreciate what you're proposing. So this has been really working well. People are more receptive to change, definitely. Even comparing this year to last year, I was thinking, last year, this time around Index, a lot of people were still like, no, this is how we are. We're a hierarchical firm. We need the seniors and the managers, as the last panel was mentioning, to be on the glazing around the windows. And we need others to be in the open plan. Now, even that is changing. They used to think that here, the culture in Saudi, certain people want their privacy. Now they're more like, no, we want to kind of mix. So there's been a very good, very positive change in a lot of organizations, but also it's not easy. So it is on us to use all of the tools possible to, as I said, take the extra step to show people this versus that, for them to be more receptive and more understanding to the change you are proposing.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Rasha, on that input. And it would be great to get input from you as well on the feedback that you're getting from your clients. As I said, now, even a year later, I'm sure there is a feedback from employees coming. But Mohammed, from your side, and obviously you're coming from a developer side, so obviously you are on that kind of first pulse of what potential clients, you are the one who have to actually predict, especially when it comes to those multi-use and commercial spaces, of what type of amenities you're going to offer for people as well. So just from your perspective, what changes do you see as well in the developments as well?
I feel sorry that many people, they are blaming us that we are dictating how development is coming. We are, as developer, we really care about how people will enjoy the place. And in any product that we deliver to the market, we really care about the quality of life. We are mainly a residential developer, where 80% of our portfolio is residential. At the same time, when we deliver those offices or place for people to work, we do offer the quality of life at the same time. We care about I'm not going to talk about the sustainability stuff, but now you asked me about something about how they feel or how they practice their job inside this entity. If you ask anyone about the company where they function now, if you ask them a very simple or basic question, are you willing to move to a place or a company where they pay you 20% less salary for a better environment? I think many people, it's 15 to 20% they will accept to go. They will care more about the environment. I'm not saying that people will move for lower salaries, but people care about the place or the environment they work from. So if you want to be a talent magnet, if you want to do the talent acquisition, the only or the first step for you to get those talents, that you are doing a great for them in terms of facilities and amenities. I was just in talk with engineer Ammar. He's our CEO for LGPI, and I asked him, based on your experience in work environment, because you are specialized, LGPI, they are specialized in lightings. He starts delivering many stuff that I say, okay, stop, so it's enough for me. People, they care about how the lighting is changing. He explained it more professionally, how they care about in the daytime it should be lighter, and when it's afternoon they need it to be mimicking the outside environment. I know people demanding now, and they deserve what they are asking for. As a developer, again, we are developing 3 places as a workplace. We call them, our brand for offices is called RBC, Retail Business Park, or Retail Business Court, or Retail Business Centers. We have 2 in Riyadh and we have 1 in Khobar. All of them will be A-class. And you know that to have A-class, this is again for quality of life, to have A-class workplace, you have to have a residential component so people can commute from. We do offer that in Khobar projects, RBC in Khobar. It will be also attached with residential components to achieve A+ class in offices.
We will talk later about sustainability, because I think it's also important just to understand the demand for LEED certified and LEED Gold and Platinum commercial buildings in Saudi as well. But from your side as well,
actually,
if we could just...
I will be talking about human-centered design. From our perspective, we do appreciate how people behave inside the environment or inside the built environment. So our main objective or our main target too is to understand what they need, and that is only can be done through participatory design by these end users inside the design process. So when we do these type of co-design sessions, or we try to speak to the employees, to speak to different generations, different ideas. So we need to understand what they need inside the space, inside the office space. This helps us to understand more and give them the proper idea how to behave inside the space according to their vision. This gives us the edge of sense of belonging that we need to our office spaces. When they get a better offer, I think they're going to think differently. When the spaces, they do have their print inside this space, or they did some kind of design inside the space, they understand that this is our space, so they have a huge sense of belonging to that one.
Okay. And okay, obviously a lot comes down to culture, and a lot comes down to that diversity as well. But Rasha, just going back to, and I know in one of the panels we discussed before that it's very hard to kind of have a rule of design, because every client has a different brief and they come with a different sets of requirements. But we talked a lot about that agile working. We talked a lot about that flexibility, and you know, also employees demanding that kind of flexibility as well. So just based on your projects here, how important are these discussions to have with the client? Are those some of the requirements that they do require from the office space as well, and how you address them through design?
I think the most important thing was first telling the stakeholders of the project that we don't only want to talk to the boss, we want to talk to different stakeholders, we want to talk to the users, we want to talk to the employees, and kind of convincing them to create a steering committee where you can get different opinions and have like a melting pot of decisions. So this is the most important thing. And as we mentioned in one of the old panels, there's no one solution fits all. Like for example, at Waro we have created a couple of typologies for workplaces. For example, let's say the cocoon focus booth and so on. So many different typologies, but we never impose them because different businesses have different needs. If you remember, we used the law firm as an example. Lawyers are lawyers, they need the enclosed offices. Other firms, they're more into like more collaboration areas. Some firms might not even need many of those workstations because most of their work is collaborative work. That's why we always try to understand the nature of the business, not just today, also tomorrow, because a lot of companies might have 5 departments today, 3 of them are dissolving in 5 years. So how are you going to create for that when you know that those departments are not even going to exist? What's the nature of their work? What's the nature of their work in the future? So it's super important to do that. You also spoke about how everybody like the Google office was like the breaker, you know, it broke all the norms and everybody wanted the brave colors, they wanted the office to be colorful, they wanted the coffee bar, and they think flexibility is that. Flexibility is not really that. It's having different amenities and having a space that you can change the nature of according to your needs, not just today. So it is super important to also explain to our client that if your neighbor or your friend had an office in a certain way, it doesn't mean it's going to fit you. Even if it's flexible, it doesn't mean it's flexible to you.
And it's not just a matter of having those slides and football tables and, you know, having...
Absolutely.
Ending up with the underutilized areas, right? So, Mohammed, going to you, when we talk about the space utilization, obviously coming from a development side, every square foot matters, right? That's the utilization of the space as well. So, from your angle, when we talk about this drive for flexibility, for multi-use of the spaces, how important that is, and how is that driving developments that you're working on as well?
If you have the right clients, there is positive for everything you spend on. Like, let's say the ratio for landscape and the built ratio, I think every square you give to landscape, you are getting a premium on the rent. So there is nothing just you are going to lose just because you are offering more landscape or more quality of life projects. If you are losing, like one of our projects, we have done a layout where it's the centerpiece of the project is an experience center. It's a cost center. There is no profits coming, or there is no rents coming out of this. But we said, okay, this is the jewel of the projects, and we are willing to compensate this for any other income from the other surroundings, where we are going to charge a premium. I'm not going to say that we are going to be higher in terms of pricing, but we will charge the premium for every space we are given. Again, I want to make it simple for everyone. People also, we are getting annoyed if we are waiting for the elevator for more than 30 seconds. So that means you will give more elevators, you will lose more spaces. If you need more meeting rooms. And also one main example is the parking. And thankfully, alhamdulillah, here in Riyadh and in the whole Saudi, the municipality themselves and the general authority, they changed the codes for the ratio of parking. We know that we are a country, or we are a nation heavily depending on our cars to commute, and we know that it's the ease that we want to offer for every employee. If you can come with a ratio less than the code, for sure you will sell more. In all of our 3 projects, the code is saying 25 square meter. We are trying to reach less than this ratio to offer more parkings, and we are confident there are clients for this kind of offering. And again, we are talking about the foreign HQs or global HQs moving to Saudi. We know that the need or the demand is changing day by day. So as a developer, the trick of a developer that he understands the clients, and we do so.
You said, just to build on that, that some of your residential, you looked into that as well to kind of cut down on that commute, and we talk about carbon emissions as well, right? To kind of give that, we talked about those concept of 5-minute cities, right? Where commute and just going to work and being stuck in traffic, that's the value of time as well. So it's interesting to understand that demand that's driving.
Yeah, but you are making it very hard for us. It's 15-minute city, but 5-minute city is something. Yes.
Yes, 15
there
minutes.
But there is now. Like in the line in Neom, it's 5-minute city. Yes. So if you achieve 15-minute city, you are achieving something. We do understand this, and all of our design team, they are certified with Mustadam, and they are certified with LEED. Why? Because in all of PIF projects, mega and giga projects, all of them or many of them are 15-minute city. Dir'iyah is 15-minute city. I'm gonna guess. Dir'iyah is 15-minute city. King Salman Park is 15-minute city. Roshan in their communities, they are trying to do 15-minute city. Like we said, Neom, it's 5-minute city because of the community.
Yeah.
So, in order for us to be a master developer within that master development, we need to understand this, and that's what we have done. All of our design team, they are certified for 15-minute city.
It's amazing. Thank you so much. And it's great to see how you're developing, it's your own vision. And, you can look from the mistakes of the surrounding countries that had that exponential growth as well, right? And to understand what can be done different and better as well. And it is in line with the vision of 2030. So, Ahmed, from your side, just going back to my question that I asked Russia as well, clients, what do they demand when it comes to the workspace? Do you see the greater demand for flexibility? We talked about war on talent as well. So what is the demand that you are seeing coming from projects here?
I think the most important thing for our clients, they think and they want to make it easier for their employees to achieve the best behavior and best to be creative, to be inspired by the space. What the employees need is maybe a lot different than the employer, but we definitely have to be on the both sides, trying to understand both ideas and try to interpret their ideas into something that can work for both. The employers always want something amazing. They want something speaking out of their ideas or their inspirational design for them. But the employees they look to have very comfortable space, very challenging space. Maybe some employees want to discuss these with their colleagues in another, that our space is better than yours or something. This is always a challenge with this. The clients are always demanding. They want to have the best space ever.
It's interesting to see how many offices are now using their office spaces as a marketing tool in a way, as you mentioned, to attract and retain talent as well. Just going back to Saudi 2030 vision, right? A big pillar of that vision is that commitment and a very true and actionable commitment to sustainability. So going back to the workspaces as well, Russia, is there a demand? Is it a tougher or easier conversation when it comes to this is the right way to deliver green offices, LEED certified offices, well certified offices? Are you having these conversations? Do you find it easier or harder compared to maybe other countries in the region?
To be honest, you mentioned sustainability. So as we all know, being honest here, sustainability has been a trend for so many years. So a lot of people were chasing LEED and well because they just want to put it on LinkedIn saying we got LEED certified or well certified and so on. But also, on the other hand, there are some clients who really care. Like we recently delivered a project that was targeting LEED Platinum and well. And aside from all of this checklist, the client had their own checklist that was kind of challenging LEED and well. I mean, we died in the process, but it was so interesting to see that the client's own checklist was more than LEED and well. It's because they really, really care. Like, for instance, they wanted to add a staircase to connect the two floors they rented, and their like safety policy says no staircase. I mean, if you want to have it, you can, but when you read the guidelines and the rules, they have to have a staircase, you're just like, no, I don't want to have it. It's not going to look cool anymore. So it was really nice and refreshing to see companies and organizations care without really having to care, if you know what I mean. It's really great. Here I see a bigger demand for, if you know that award, the best workplace. Everybody's trying to get that, even maybe more than sustainability. Basically, it's an organization that comes and checks your office, and then if you are kind of matching the criteria, you get awarded best workplace for the environment. So yes, it is definitely becoming more popular, but as I said, it is really mainly to attract the talent, because if you don't have the right talent, there is no business that you're going to market for, really.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It's a valid point, but even if it's for marketing reasons, it's still contributing positively as well. So Mohammed, just going back to that and our discussion that we had earlier, that you said that you almost want to target that as a niche market when it comes to the LEED Green, LEED Gold certified commercial spaces. So do you see the demand? Do you see increase of demand to have those rated A+ commercial buildings in Saudi?
Actually, what we are voluntarily doing right now, it will be an obligation soon. So we know that those foreign companies or global HQs moving to Saudi, they are already disclosing their emissions in their annual reports. So it's not something that we are going to do just because we are going to say that we are practicing our job or functioning or having our employee in a very good environment. No, it's something that you will disclose at the end of the year in your annual reports, emissions, and everything will be there. So part of that emission chapter is the place from where you operate. So that we see that, and thankfully in retail we are about to release our second ESG report. We are a listed company. It's also voluntarily happening now in the Saudi stock market, but we are expecting this soon to be an obligation for every company to publish their ESG report. Last year we ranked third. After the first was Aqua Park, second is Sabic, third was retail. So we are also committed to that, and we are trying to be leading in that, because as a developer we are committed to whatever the country itself is committed for, and we know that those foreign companies coming, they will be within the same wave. So we will also be incentivizing those companies to function or to operate from a place where they can disclose perfectly in their reports.
Perfect. Thank you, Ahmed. Before going to you, just Mohammed, one question for you. You said soon it's going to be mandatory. So I just want to take your take on that, because we've seen in a lot of countries in the region, sustainability, it's nice to have, but it's not must have. So the regulations are very broad and often very avoidable. So do you think that's something that's going to be, as you said, a mandate here?
I will talk about it from two different point of views. First is the code. As a developer, let's say I'm talking about as a developer or as development or construction, the code will change. They are not going to accept certain amount of concrete. They are not going to accept this kind of bricks. The code will change. So for sustainability, this is happening now. It's not. It is happening in Riyadh. Second, that also applies to us and to the other listed company. That's the stock market. If you are a listed company, it will be mandatory. I'm saying this for listed companies. Later on, the wave will continue for other companies. But for listed companies, I can see it's happening soon.
It's becoming, okay. And also just going back to Darren's presentation before about, companies that will pay more attention to carbon emissions as well, and what they produce and offset as well. So Ahmed, just going back to you and your project that you're working on, how much you see that drive from the clients coming that they want to push sustainability in their workspaces?
The sustainability is now, it's becoming a mandatory aspect for all designs. Interior design is just one out of them. Social sustainability as well it's a must. So social sustainability is a way to achieve the quality of space the people are behaving inside. The sustainability and choosing the materials, choosing the ideas that these guys are having fun inside it. I think having an attachment to the heritage as well. So we do have a very rich heritage. That's why we tend to have a small ideas about the heritage, which, by the way, it achieves a very good sustainability aspects as well.
I like that you mentioned cultural and heritage as well, and even in a previous panel we touched upon that a little bit, even though we discussed about the lighting design and just maybe even the way that things are built today, just going back to those traditional built systems that worked, that we just use the terminology of harvesting the natural daylight as well. So just Rasha, from your perspective as well, we always talk about globalization, and obviously I don't want to talk about trends, more of a tendencies or what's coming into the workspaces. How much of that cultural identity, how much of that kind of thoughtfulness of being mindful of the resources, of the natural resources that are present here is also now taken into consideration when, even from that early concept stage?
First of all, having the local content is very important. Like, this is one of the first discussions we have with the clients. I just want to mention something about sustainability. Like, the most important thing that we're always motivating clients to do is to think about the sustainability of using the real estate. So before even taking the building, if that building suits them or not, like some of them, they know in 2 or 3 years down the line, they might have to just leave the building and go to another one. So to me, the real estate utilization is like one of the most fundamental aspects of sustainability before we talk about green building materials and, you know, sustainable recycled materials. So this is one point I want to mention. But in general, the local content is very important, but a lot of people are trying to stay away from having their spaces designed too local because they want it to be timeless, because also now Saudi Arabia has melting pot of nationalities. It's not only Saudi, so they also want to appeal to all of the different, let's say, nationals, all of the different preferences. So it's having that right balance between the local content, I'm talking in terms of look and feel, and the global kind of approach. So then it does look like a Saudi flavored space, but it's timeless, it's global, it appeals to everybody. So it's have it in the right blend. Some firms have the ratio as 80-20, that's like the popular one. Some firms have it less, maybe 10. So it depends on what suits that firm you're working with. But also using local materials has been a demand from clients, and I love it and I appreciate it. I'd love to see more local materials at Index next year, to be honest. I'd love to see more. I don't know if people are going to hate me, but please bring more local materials.
Thank you so much. And just Mohammed, going back from a development, and also you mentioned that you work on a lot of residential development. So bringing this locality into the projects when it's such a big demand for an openness to globalization as well, how important it is for you from a development side as well, just to understand that local context as well.
Again, here in Saudi, we are committed as a country. So many things that will come to any, it's not about the developer, it will come to the system. So we are committed to that, and we are also seeing this happening in everywhere. We as a developer in our residential units that we are delivering to the market, we are preparing every unit to be at least coming with a provision for any sustainability aspects. I will give an example that we didn't announce this, but we will be committed to this in every residential unit that we will deliver to the market. Don't quote me on this because we are a listed company. There will be a sleeve for a future panels. If there is any futuristic tools for energy that you need to link with the government meter, there will be a sleeve from the government meter to a river source at the rooftop or anywhere in your place. It will be in every retail units delivered to the market. So this is one example. And again, residential, you introduced me as a business development director for retail, but I'm here representing Iraq as an interior design company. I'm the MD for the company. It's one of our subsidiaries for interior design. They are also committed for the way they are delivering their design, either for residential or any other categories. That's now they are more into sustainability. They will introduce their sustainability unit or department, a small unit within the interior design, because we are assigning them now for one of our assets to be well certified. So every place that we are offering, it's not every place we are offering. We will start with our assets. We are committed by 2025 that every place or workplace in retail will be certified by WELL. WELL is, I'm not sure if I can't give the best identification of WELL, but it's like it's not the ISO. It's something only for the workplaces. So we will our team in Iraq, they will be certifying every assets that we have by 2025.
If you allow me, I will give the definition of the well building standard because I'm equally passionate about that. Obviously, in the region, we talk a lot about the LEED certification. And as much as LEED looks at the buildings from a sustainability and the performance and the space and energy utilization, what's beautiful about the well building standard is that it looks at the human beings inside the spaces. So it looks at the well-being of the people, the access to natural light, access to water, ergonomics. So it looks at a lot of different aspects. So it's really great to see that you're actually pushing for the well building standard.
What she just said is our buildings in within 2 years.
Perfect. Thank you. Ahmed, anything from your side to add on this discussion? Okay, perfect. So I'm just mindful of time. I would like to open up a discussion to our audience, and I'm glad that we have a fully engaged and full audience. So is anyone would like to ask a question, share a comment, or any insights from your side when it comes to Saudi Vision 2030? So do we have anyone? Yes, perfect. Thank you so much. It's always an icebreaker with the first question. Go ahead.
Oh, am I audible? Yeah. So my question is, I love the concept of sustainability, and I love that we are concerned about our better future. But are we ready for it? So when I say are we ready for it, we talk a lot about sustainability, but are we ready for that extra premium? Because I'm coming from the material manufacturer background. So when the premium comes from that extra third-party certification which goes for that particular product, are we ready to pay that premium or not? So that's my question actually. For that particular product which you are looking for sustainability, or let's say to get that LEED extra credits. So if you are comparing from a local product or that particular product which has gone through that entire third-party certification to get those carbon emission calculations and all those things, EPDs. So are we actually open for that subject or not, that extra cost?
Okay. Who would like to take that question? Are we ready? Just to kind of paraphrase and get just if I understood you, are we ready from a client perspective, right? Because obviously these are the things that get value engineered when we have that cost attached to it, right? So do you feel the clients are ready for this?
The example that I mentioned about the sleeve from the government meter to the roof of the buildings, one of the concerns was that we don't want to increase the ticket size of the villa. We want to give it as an option for you to be ready. Why you are not willing now to pay more for this extra item or add-ons on the villa? Because there is no proof for you yet that's efficient, that whatever I pay for the solar panel will compensate my bill. But we can see it now happening. The example is that usually the warranty coming with the solar panels is not covering the area where I should be in the comfort zone. I can cover my bills within 7 years, so give me 7 years warranty, I will be confident I can buy this. Usually the payback period of this solar panel is 7 years, your warranty is 5 years. There's no logic in this. So what about the if you see these 7 years matching or extra, you will be confident, okay, charge me now extra for this unit, because its payback period is obvious for me. I'm having this warranty for 7 years. I don't need it after 7 years. I can replace it. I can go back to the government meter. So there is no proof yet, for, at least for this solar panel example of sustainability, for payback period. If there is payback period, I think the client is ready to pay this premium or extra on this. This is an example.
Rasha, you wanted to add something on the point of being ready or not?
To be honest, yeah, unfortunately, a lot of times sustainable materials do get removed. Sometimes clients keep them when you show them the difference, you know, the long-term saving. I believe sometimes freedom is not for everybody, so if the government forced us to be sustainable, that would be better, to be very honest, but a lot of the times they do get removed. Yes, people are more receptive now, as I mentioned, but it's good that Saudi is becoming more, let's say, how can I say, actioning sustainability more, that you have to be sustainable, you have to follow certain, let's say, rules and regulations. I think more of that is required, because when it's a choice, sometimes it's getting avoided.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
I have one weird example, and I just want to throw this because we have people from the western part of the world. we got asked one day that, are you willing to pay $20 more for a T-shirt if it's recyclable? Here, I think in Saudi or in GCC, we are not yet ready for that. But I have seen this in maybe, let's say in the US, many people in college or students, they are willing to pay $20 extra for nothing. They are not, there's no payback period, there's no saving in the, they are supporting the planets, they are supporting the mangrove, they are supporting the turtles in the oceans. So this culture is happening, and we know that whenever it's happening everywhere, it's gradually it's coming to us.
But you know, when we talk about the workforces, and we mentioned even today Gen Zs, right, as this very emerging workforce, and their approach to sustainability and their environmental awareness is much higher than maybe from traditionalists or baby boomers. So let's hope that they will be also the one who are going to be driving this demand. Quickly, do we have any more questions? Let's quickly check. Any more questions? Okay, perfect. So with that note, I would really like to thank our speakers for today's panel discussions. Thank you so much for joining us. And let's hope that in 5 years from now, when we talk about sustainability, we'll have a little bit more of a different discussion. It's going to be discussed about how things have been implemented as well. So thank you so much for joining today's discussion. Let's have a picture, please.